Would I be the jerk to divorce my wife after she said she wanted to send our son to a conversion camp? So, this is a pretty heavy situation, and I'm really confused and disgusted NGL because I never thought my wife was like this. My wife, 44F, and I, 45M, have been married for 14 years. We have 2 kids, a 16-year-old son, let's call him Noah, and a 12-year-old daughter. We've had our fair share of disagreements over the years, of course, but things have generally been smooth between us. Now for the context, Noah came out as gay about a year ago. It was a surprise, and as hard as it was to accept, I love my kids more than anything and just want their happiness. My wife visibly didn't take it well, though. She was upset and seemed to go through a grieving period where she didn't really talk about it. I tried to support Noah in every way I could, telling him that I loved him no matter what, etc. My wife, though, I could tell she wasn't on the same page. She would say things like, "This is just a phase," or "He needs help," but I brushed it off as her needing time. Fast forward to last week, and we were having a conversation about Noah's future. Out of nowhere, my wife casually mentions that she's been looking into conversion therapy camps and thinks it might be the right solution. She said that Noah isn't truly gay, that he just hasn't been shown the right path, and that this could fix him. My blood ran cold. I was in shock. I immediately told her I didn't agree and that this was not something I could support. Duh. She got upset and said I was enabling Noah's confusion and that if I really cared about him, I would help him get better. WTF is wrong with her? She was persistent, and no matter how much I tried to explain that conversion therapy is harmful, like I know those kids get abused, are *ped, and often end up either traumatized or uninstalling themselves, and that I would never send our son to something like that, she wouldn't back down. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't even think I love her anymore. The fact she could be so heartless disgusts me. I know being gay is not easy, and people like her just make it even harder. I'm considering staying, only for our daughter's sake, but would it be okay if it means hurting my son? It feels like a betrayal to Noah. I just don't think I can keep living with someone who thinks this is okay. Relevant comments. Opie needs to get a divorce soon as possible. His wife is setting their son up for child abuse. Opie, yeah, of course I really want to divorce her. We don't even talk anymore, lol. But I know how damn close my daughter is to her mother. But I know at the moment I need to focus on Noah, and hopefully my daughter will be wise enough to understand. Commenter 1. NTA. Please do not send your son to conversion therapy because of your wife's heartlessness. OP, you don't have to worry about this. I will not do this. I love my son just the way he is. I don't even know how to tell him his mom wants to do that. The kids notice the tension between us, but I haven't said anything yet. Commenter 2. Staying for your daughter's sake. WTF? What about your son? NTA. Divorce her and get full custody immediately of both kids. Tell the judge you fear crazy pants will turn your daughter against your son and raise her to be a bigot like her. Also, if you get any of her nonsense in writing, get it in text, save it. Don't tell her you're going to use it in court. Conversion camps should be illegal. It's so disgusting. Opie, you're absolutely right. I'll start looking for a good lawyer and cut her out of our life as soon as possible. Update 1. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone here for all the help and advice I've gotten under my post and in DMS. Sorry if I couldn't answer to everyone, there was just too many fudging people, lol. So I posted something about my wife wanting to send my son to a conversion camp 2 days ago. First of all, some people told me to show her videos and documentaries about what happens there, but this argument has been ongoing for more than a week now. I've showed her things and she won't budge. Really bad update if I can be honest, so let's get into it. All of you told me to try to get him out ASAP. Y'all were definitely right. So yesterday I took the day off and went to see an attorney just to get some info about divorce, etc. But after what happened, I'm 100% sure I want a divorce ASAP. Yesterday, I went to pick Noah at his school, and as many of you suggested, we had a long discussion. I basically told him his mom and I may be getting a divorce because she wants to send him to a conversion camp, but I can't accept that. I've talked with her many times and I told him I'll probably go through with it. He looked really hurt. My heart broke all over again, but was very understanding and thanked me for standing up for him. I pulled him into a tight hug and told him I'll always love him no matter what and that nothing's his fault. At that moment, he started crying because he was so glad at least I was on his side. And I'm very pissed, so sorry if I don't make sense, but apparently his mom had been pressuring him for months. She planned dates with girls to try and fix him, and he had to lie by saying he was going at a friend's instead. She was saying he needs help, and as much as she loves him, he needs to get his condition cured, etc. I feel so bad because I've been so oblivious to all that, and I've failed to protect him for all that time. How do you make your 16-year-old son go through that? So when we got home yesterday, I can't lie, I was furious and confronted her right there and then. At first, she was trying to explain she was doing it for him, but her speech quickly turned to slurs, and it was clear she was just ashamed of having a gay son. In the end, I told her I went to see an attorney, and that learning all that just confirmed that I want a divorce. She got really angry, calling me a delusional disgrace. We argued a lot, and at some point Noah tried to separate us, but my wife punched him multiple times. She was saying disgusting things like he is a dirty fag *T and that it's all his fault we're getting divorced because his filth corrupted me. My daughter, who was prob in her room, came to see what all that commotion was about and was rightfully horrified and quickly called 911 when I told her to. Long story short, the cops got there and took her away. She was very reluctant to go because she was not in the wrong and they needed to let her go. I explained everything to my daughter and she doesn't want anything to do with her mom anymore. I'm in the hospital because my STB ex-wife broke my rib while I was restraining her. I should have probably went as soon as the cops took her, but IDC, my son was crying. With a black eye and split lip, they are checking for any concussion, and obviously the only thing I cared about was to comfort him because I can't even imagine what it can feel like being beaten by your mom for being gay. I'm planning to file for full custody OFC, and my kids don't want to see her ever again anyway. Given all the charges she's facing, I hope she won't stand a chance against me. I just sent a mail to my attorney, and I hope the procedures will be fast. I've also thought of getting CPS involved, but I'm not sure they will RLY help. Like, I cannot understand how you can grow so resentful of your own kid because of something they can't control. Even I had pretty strong opinions about it, but as a father, it is my role to unconditionally love my kids, and so I learn about the topic and change my way of seeing the world for him. It took some time grasping it, but I never doubted one SEC the love I have for my child. I thought it was the same for my wife. Visibly not. Relevant comments. OP on his daughter's strength to call for help and get her some therapy if needed. OP, thank you very much. I'm so proud of her for doing this, only at 12. She's pretty shaken and confused, but she seems to understand the gravity of her mom's actions. I'm so sad she had to be dragged into this mess as well. OP on kicking his wife out of the house or moving out somewhere with his kids. OP, we've got a house that is under both our names, and E didn't have a prenup. People have been telling me to change the locks and throw her stuff out, but I just don't know if I can do that. If I can't, I'll either go back to my parents with the kids or rent an apartment in the meantime. Update 2. Holy hell, y'all. I didn't think things could get worse, but here we are. Quick recap. My wife wanted to send our son, Noah, to a conversion camp. That led to her being arrested after a violent outburst. I'm filing for divorce, and my kids don't want to see her again. Now here's where things get insane. First off, Noah is physically healing okay, no concussion, thankfully, but the emotional scars? Those are going to take a long time. My daughter's been quiet, but holding up surprisingly well for someone her age. She's been glued to me and her brother like she's afraid if she lets us out of her sight, something else might happen. I got her an appointment with a therapist who specializes in kids dealing with family trauma. Noah's already in therapy, so I'm doubling down on that too. Now, onto the fresh drama. My STB ex-wife somehow made bail. I have no idea who helped her, probably one of her equally twisted friends, but she's out. I found out when she showed up at our house this morning. Yes, our house, banging on the door like a lunatic. I had already changed the locks, thanks to some of your advice, so she couldn't get in, but she was screaming and threatening to call CPS on me for alienating her from her kids. Her logic? She's the real victim here. I called the cops again, and they told her to leave. She finally did, but not before throwing some choice insults at me and accusing me of brainwashing our daughter. Really? Me? Lady, I'm just trying to keep my kids safe from you. I've now filed a restraining order and am waiting for it to be approved. But the real kicker? My attorney called to warn me that she's planning to fight for custody. Custody of the same kids she literally assaulted. She's apparently claiming she's been misunderstood and that I'm turning them against her because I'm an overly permissive parent. My jaw actually hit the floor when I heard that. The audacity of this woman is unreal. I'm doing everything I can to protect my kids, but I'm also not naive. Custody battles can get messy, and while I have the evidence of what she did, police reports, hospital records, witness statements from the kids, I know how family court can sometimes give a parent the benefit of the doubt just because they're the biological mom. My attorney says it's unlikely she'll get any significant custody, but even supervised visitation makes my skin crawl. Noah overheard me talking to the lawyer and freaked out at the idea of having to see her again. He begged me to make sure she never comes near him, and I promised I'd do everything in my power. But what if the court doesn't listen? What if they force him to have contact with her? The thought makes me sick. Oh, and as if that wasn't enough, I got a text from her pastor, someone I barely know, saying he wants to meet to discuss how we can reconcile as a family under God. I blocked him immediately. I'm not playing that game. I don't even know what's next at this point. All I can do is keep fighting for my kids, but the stress is eating me alive. I'm not sleeping, barely eating, and every time I hear a knock on the door or my phone buzzes, I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. My parents have offered to let us move in with them for a while, and I'm seriously considering it, just to get away from the circus. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me. I'm running on fumes, but knowing I have the support of strangers on the internet actually helps more than I expected. I'll keep you updated when the next disaster strikes. At this rate, it feels inevitable. Update 3. After my last update, I thought we were starting to catch a break. My lawyer assured me we had a strong case, and I was cautiously optimistic. But then my STB ex-wife decided to throw gasoline on the dumpster fire that is her existence. Strap in, because this one's wild. Yesterday, I was at work, thankfully remote, when I got a call from Noah's school. My heart immediately sank because they never call unless something's wrong. The secretary told me Noah had been pulled out of class by a woman claiming to be his mother. Yeah, you guessed it, her. Apparently, she tried to check him out for some emergency. But the school, God bless them, called me first. When they couldn't reach me immediately, because I was in a meeting, they stalled her and said they needed proper documentation. That's when she lost it. She started yelling about how I'm poisoning her kids against her, and how she has every right to see her son. The school had to call security to escort her out. By the time I got on the phone with them, she'd already been banned from campus, but I was shaking. This woman legit tried to kidnap our kid. I told the school under no circumstances should she ever be allowed near my children, and they assured me they'd flag her in their system. I called my attorney immediately, and he's adding this to the restraining order request. I also contacted CPS, finally taking that step some of you suggested, because this is beyond just a custody fight now, it's a full-blown safety issue. When Noah got home, he was understandably freaked out. He told me that when she pulled him out of class, she started ranting about how she'd found a safe place for him and that they were going to fix everything. He said she was grabbing his arm and trying to drag him to the parking lot before the school staff stepped in. He was visibly shaken and kept apologizing for causing all this, which broke me. I had to remind him for the millionth time that none of this is his fault. My daughter, bless her heart, overheard everything and told Noah, "If Mom ever comes near us again, I'll call the police faster than you can blink." She's 12 and already has more sense than most adults I know. I've got them both sleeping in my room tonight because none of us feel safe, and I think it's going to stay that way for a while. But here's the twist that really sent me over the edge. I found out my STB ex-wife isn't just targeting Noah. She's been contacting my daughter's friends' parents, claiming I'm unstable and that she's trying to protect the kids. One of the moms forwarded me a chain of messages where my ex outright accused me of promoting sinful behavior and letting Noah ruin the family. She even hinted that I was abusive, which is laughable considering, she's the one with an assault charge. I'm documenting everything: texts, calls, the school incident, all of it, but I feel like I'm constantly playing defense. She's clearly trying to manipulate anyone she can into supporting her twisted narrative, and it's exhausting. My lawyer says this is actually good for us because it shows how unhinged she's become. But honestly, I'd trade every legal advantage just to have her disappear from our lives. The final straw came tonight. I got an email from an anonymous address, and it was just a bunch of photos of my kids. Some of them were from years ago, but a few were recent, like taken within the last week recent. My skin crawled. I don't know if it's her, someone she knows, or just a random psycho, but I'm not taking any chances. I called the police, and they're sending someone over to take a report. I also bought a security camera system and plan to install it first thing tomorrow. I feel like I'm living in a thriller movie where the antagonist is my own damn wife. I don't even know what's next: court dates, custody hearings, who knows, but I'm gearing up for the fight of my life. My kids deserve peace, and I'll burn myself to the ground to make sure they get it. If anyone has advice on how to stay sane during this nightmare, I'm all ears. Otherwise, I'll update when there's more to share. Knowing my life right now, that'll probably be tomorrow. Update 4. Alright, y'all, here it is, the final update. I can't believe I'm even typing this, but after weeks of chaos, fear, and rage, I think we've finally reached the end of this insane chapter. Let me start by saying, we're safe. My kids are okay. And my STB ex-wife? She got what was coming to her. So, after the last update, the police started taking things more seriously. They investigated the creepy anonymous email with the photos of my kids, and guess what? It was her. She had been stalking us, literally parking down the street in some random car and snapping pictures. I had no idea it was happening until the photos showed up. Once the cops tied the email to her IP address, that was it. She violated multiple restraining orders, and they arrested her again. This time, no bail. But it doesn't stop there. During her arrest, they searched her phone, and what they found was enough to make my blood run cold. She had been in contact with some sketchy conversion therapy group that promised to intervene if she couldn't reclaim Noah. There were messages detailing plans to take him out of state, possibly even out of the country. Basically, she was plotting to kidnap him. When I heard that, I nearly lost it. My lawyer worked overtime to ensure the court was aware of this new development. Between the stalking, the attempted kidnapping, and the assault charges, the case became pretty open and shut. The judge granted me full custody of both kids, no visitation, no contact. My ex-wife is now facing multiple criminal charges, and honestly, I don't think she'll see freedom anytime soon. After the court decision, I took my kids on a little getaway to celebrate road trip to the beach, just the three of us. It was the first time in weeks I saw Noah truly relax. He stood at the shoreline, staring out at the water, and told me, for the first time, I feel like I can breathe again. That broke me in the best way. My daughter buried me in the sand and said, "Now you can't leave us either." I laughed so hard I forgot what it felt like to be angry. When we got back home, I made a decision. It's time to move. I can't live in this house anymore. Too many bad memories, too much stress. My parents offered to help us find a new place, and I'm taking them up on it. Somewhere fresh, somewhere far from her shadow. As for Noah, he's already doing better. Therapy is helping him unpack everything, and he's even talking about starting an LGBTQ+ support group at his school. I'm so damn proud of him. My daughter is a little ray of sunshine, as always, and she's already making plans to decorate her room in our new place. She says she wants a space that feels like us, and honestly, same. To everyone who supported me through this absolute nightmare, thank you. I can't express how much it meant to read your comments and advice when I felt like the world was collapsing around me. Y'all gave me the strength to fight when I felt like giving up. The battle is over. My kids and I are free. And while I know healing won't happen overnight, I also know we're heading towards something better. For now, the only thing I'm focusing on is being the dad my kids need and the man I want to be. As for her, I hope the bars they lock her behind are as cold and unyielding as her heart. Time to start fresh.